Welcome to Apple Insider. It is Andrew here. Google has just launched a brand new revamped version of their News app for iOS. Known now as Google News, which replaces the Google Newsstand that used to exist, now takes on Apple's News app directly head on. Both of these apps attempt to really do the same thing, providing you some personalized news stories, all with the attempt to keep you in the app longer and reading more. Obviously, in either scenario, they're serving you ads, which is going to be earning them money. But they approach this goal in two definitely different ways, and it's ways that we've seen these two giants battling each other for some time, and that really just comes down to how much data they actually have on you. In this video, we're going to take a good look at both of these two applications and see how each of them excel, how each of them kind of fall short a little bit, and overall which one's just going to be better for you. Even though the Apple News app got a few new updates with iOS 11.3, Google News is for sure the newer one here, so we're going to start off with that application compared to Google News and give you our summary at the end. When you first sign in to the Google News application, you're brought to the For You tab, which is where they give you a lot of personalized sites with top 5 stories right along the top, known as your briefing. Down below at the bottom, just like Apple News, is an array of tabs. There are 4 tabs here, which is the For You that we just talked about. Headlines, which gives you tons of different topics from tons of different sources and attempts to give you kind of a rounded view on each of those topics. Then we have favorites, which is where things like your favorite topics, sources, and locations are all saved. This is also where Google elected to save your searches and your favorite articles. And lastly, we have Newsstand, which is a variety of different publications, including those that are behind a paywall or that require a subscription. If we get in and start exploring these tabs a little bit, there's a few things that we really like about Google News. First off, right when you sign in, you're immediately presented with a lot of stories that are already kind of exciting to read. When I first signed in, I actually wanted to read a lot of the stuff that I found right away, right out of the gate, before I even made any choices. That's because Google knows a lot about you. I also really like this full coverage feature where you could take a story and it would not provide just the sources that you already look at, but tons of different sources and insight from all different viewpoints. On this North Korea topic, you can see we have some highlights on top. We have a bunch of insights that they're pulling in from Twitter. We have a timeline of events of what kind of led up to this point that we're in now. There's opinion pieces, analysis pieces, and on the bottom is full coverage from tons of different sources. So you're not kind of just backed into reinforcing your own opinion. You're seeing opinions from all over the place, allowing you to form your own new opinion based on all the information from a variety of different viewpoints. One thing we didn't like, though, is the articles here, they all feel just like mini web pages. They don't feel very natural and literally just look like web views pulled into this news app. So it doesn't feel very native to the iOS platform and more just like a bunch of websites built into an app. We also got a little bit of a creepy vibe. I mean, just going to look at new topics, all of a sudden there's a bunch of topics that all make sense to me, and they're clearly things that I had already been searching in Google or reading on AMP pages in Google. So the fact that it's taking that data and pulling in here gives me much better recommendations, but it just feels a little bit creepy the way they're able to pull all of that information together. And that is a big difference between news from Google and news from Apple. When you launch news from Apple, it feels a bit sparse. It doesn't exactly line up to your taste until you go through and choose a bunch of topics and sources that you want to learn more from. Then as you like and dislike articles and read more, both sources are going to get better, but Apple News really has a big learning curve to figure out what it is that you're looking for to drive their recommendation engine. Under the For You tab of Apple News, we feel like we're seeing a lot of the same sources, which are the ones that we elected to follow in the Following tab or during setup. Unfortunately, it doesn't branch out too much from that pre-selected list, which can be a bit claustrophobic, and we're not really seeing as much information as we do inside of the Google News application. The tabs and layout here in Apple News definitely feel a little bit more polished, though very similar to how they are in Google News. Of course, it starts off with For You, their recommendations based on your preferences and what you've read in the past. There's Spotlight, which is a really nice human touch. This is similar to Google's second tab, except here it's actually chosen by those human editors who are giving different insights on the latest stories. Then we have Following, which can be your topics and sources that you've chosen, Search, where you can search for things, and any saved articles that you may want to read later. That team of Apple News editors is one of the nice features of Apple News. Those editors are able to kind of pool a lot of sources together and gives you a nice picture and starting point when you jump in. So aside from your For You section, the Spotlight section is a great place to start and has a lot of different stories from a lot of different sources. They've even been able to nail down a lot of exclusive stories that you can only see in Apple News and you won't see in the Google News app. One of the biggest benefits to the Apple News app is simply the design. Apple has continued to refine it over the years with a big update with iOS 10 and another one with iOS 11 and 11.3. A lot of stories are created specifically for Apple News and include a lot of nice little subtleties like animations of text and images. Images can come full screen and will have descriptions below them. A lot of things that you simply can't do over in the Google News app. Apple News by far has the better experience and those exclusive stories that can make it definitely a contender. However, it's a lot slower to learn your personal preferences because Apple simply does not collect the level of data that Google does. So that's definitely something to consider between the two applications. Do you want a little bit of a slower time getting to know you with Apple News, or do you prefer something right out of the gate that works better and has a lot more data and a lot more recommendations for you with Google News? Google News also has the ability to give you a more rounded view of articles, and the full coverage feature is by far one of the standouts. Let us know which of these two you prefer and pick up Google News now on the App Store.
If you enjoyed this video, like it and hit that subscribe button. Also, check out our price guide, which makes it extremely easy to find the best deals on Apple products updated daily. Be sure to follow us on social media, and we'll see you in the next video.